Yo, what's going on, everybody? It's your boy Mel, and welcome back to Mel Got Game, where I bring you top plays, top sports news, and breakdowns of the previous week. So if that interests you, please like, comment, and subscribe. And without further ado, let's go ahead and get into it. So guys, this NFL offseason is wild. I don't even know what's going on anymore. I wake up to like 50 new notifications every morning, and I have to scroll through and just figure out what is going on in this NFL offseason. It is by far the craziest offseason I have ever seen. And in this video, I am going to attempt, keyword attempt, to cover as much as I can in this NFL offseason, because it is just so much information, so many trades are happening, so many signings, so many big name players are getting moved. It's crazy. So before we get started on today's video, like I said in the beginning of the video, please go ahead and like, comment, subscribe, whatever you guys need to do to show your support. It really helps me out, and it really means a lot that you guys are showing support. So starting with the most recent and arguably the most unexpected trade, we have Tyreek Hill to the Miami Dolphins. Who would have thunk it? Who would have thunk it? I was in my bed on Wednesday morning and I rolled out of my bed. I got my phone. I'm looking, I'm scrolling. Tyreek Hill traded to the Dolphins for like 50 picks. What is, and I put my phone down and I'm like, hold on, hold on. Let me see if I'm reading this right. I picked my phone back up and I go on Instagram and there's Tyreek Hill traded to the Miami Dolphins. Needless to say, this is definitely the most unexpected trade that any of us could have thought about. You know what I mean? Like, just a couple of days ago, I literally was thinking how good the Chiefs offense is going to be now that they got Juju Smith-Schuster, who is still a great option to go to for a receiver. And, you know, we definitely don't know the whole story yet, but it definitely seemed like there was some tension between Tyreek Hill and maybe the coaching staff or management. Tyreek Hill definitely seemed very unhappy. There were some reports about him wanting to get a trade from the Kansas City Chiefs, and then about 2 hours later, he ended up being traded to the Miami Dolphins. Well, first and foremost, you know, how does this affect the Miami Dolphins? Well, obviously, they're getting the fastest wide receiver in the NFL, Tyreek Hill, who is a great deep ball threat to go to. He can burn any cornerback, any DB out there. I still don't understand how Tyreek Hill runs so fast. And now they have one of, if not the fastest wide receiver duos in the NFL, with Jalen Waddle running a 4.3 40 and Tyreek Hill running a 4.2 40. And now with the addition of Tyreek Hill, they now have a loaded receiving core with Tyreek Hill, Jalen Waddle, Devontae Parker, and their big reliable tight end, Mike Gesicki. And now with the Dolphins having such a great receiving core, this is definitely a make or break year for Tua Tagovailoa. His name is Tagovailoa, right? Tagovailoa. And, you know, for Tua, we've seen him play fairly decently his first 2 years in the league, but none of us have really seen him play to the caliber of play we were really hoping and expecting when the Miami Dolphins drafted him out of Alabama. And not just for Tua, I definitely think it's a make or break year for the Miami Dolphins as a whole. They've missed the playoffs these last 5 years. In their last 2 seasons, they went over 500 and they still missed the playoffs. So there's definitely a disconnect. Something is not working, but I definitely think the signing of Tyreek Hill is something in the right step to help them get back to those playoffs. So now, you know, what does it mean for Kansas City? These past couple years, Kansas City has been just developing into an offensive juggernaut year after year. And now it seems like that juggernaut has really took a hit with one of their top tier playmakers, Tyreek Hill, and his departure. So now Kansas City's receiving threats include obviously Travis Kelce, who just keeps getting better and better every year. That man is unguardable. They have Josh Gordon, who probably gonna be hoping for a bigger output this year. They signed him last year when he was reinstated, so they're probably gonna be getting him some more touches since Tyreek Hill is gone. They have McCole Hardman, who primarily is a return specialist guy, but they're really probably hoping that he can get more involved in this offense moving forward now that Tyreek Hill is gone as well. And now they have Juju Smith-Schuster, who just came from the Pittsburgh Steelers. And the big question surrounding Juju is how big of an impact he really can make on this Chiefs team. Juju has been doubted since, the whole TikTok thing went down at Pittsburgh, I don't really think after that he was really the same there. So, now that he's probably going to be the #1 receiving threat, how big of an impact can he make for the Chiefs? So now shifting gears sort of to Deshaun Watson and the trade that happened with him. For those who don't know, he was traded to the Cleveland Browns, and it definitely came as a shock. It wasn't really unexpected because we all knew that he was getting traded. That was inevitable. But the team that he got traded to was definitely unexpected considering the news that everybody had heard prior. So initially, there seemed to be 3 teams who were in the running to get Deshaun Watson. The first team being the Carolina Panthers, who were one of the first teams to express interest in acquiring Deshaun Watson. Their quarterback situation has been kind of up in the air since their first release of Cam Newton back in 2019. Next was the New Orleans Saints, who they have more of a structured quarterback situation, but it's still kind of up in the air. They have Jameis Winston, who they're hoping they can get more consistent this season so he can potentially be their franchise quarterback moving forward. And then we had the Cleveland Browns, who they have expressed interest in moving on from Baker Mayfield. There was a lot of talk about moving on from Baker Mayfield, so they were definitely in the conversation for getting Deshaun Watson. And then out of nowhere, the Atlanta Falcons came in sort of just as a sleeper team. Nobody really was expecting them to make an actual push for Deshaun Watson, but they came in and it definitely shook a lot of stuff up and it stirred the pot a little bit to see who was actually going to get Deshaun Watson. And then the next day came and then we're hearing reports that both the Browns and the Panthers are out of the running to get Deshaun Watson, leaving it down to the Saints and the Falcons. And then a couple of hours pass and then there's a lot of stuff on Twitter. There's a lot of buzz about Deshaun Watson potentially signing to Atlanta. He was actually leaning more towards signing to Atlanta than he was with the Saints. Kyle Pitts actually tweeted out something along the lines about it was actually going to get scary in Atlanta, or it's about to get scary in Atlanta. And then he actually deleted the tweet soon after, which got a lot of fans buzzing. And just as Atlanta fans were starting to celebrate, their hope was starting to rise, they were hit with a very mean curveball. I still don't know how this happened, but they blew a lead in the offseason. The Cleveland Browns somehow pulled off a miracle to go ahead and get Deshaun Watson. Deshaun Watson came out and said that he was going to waive his no trade clause to go ahead and go to Cleveland. And I don't think anybody will ever know how the Cleveland Browns were able to pull this off, how they were able to convince Deshaun Watson to sign with them. But what I know is that Cleveland Browns offense is looking special for that 2022 season. They got Amari Cooper, Deshaun Watson, Kareem Hunt, and Nick Chubb. Man, that's going to be hard to stop. I'm telling you right now. So this definitely rocked the boat with a couple of quarterbacks, Baker Mayfield being one of them, who actually requested a trade from the Cleveland Browns after it was very apparent that they were interested in signing Deshaun Watson. And one of the more interesting ones was actually quarterback Matt Ryan, who the Atlanta Falcons were very strong about bringing back for the 2023 season. At the conclusion of last season, they were very adamant about staying committed to Matt Ryan moving forward. So that's why their interest in Deshaun Watson was so out of left field, because they seemed that they were going to keep Matt Ryan around pretty much, I guess, until retirement, which ultimately brings us to the Colts trading for Matt Ryan. And I honestly think the Colts won this trade. I mean, they only had to give up a 3rd round pick for a former NFL MVP. While I do agree that Matt Ryan's time in Atlanta, I feel like was ultimately just coming to an end, I definitely think the Falcons should have started looking elsewhere, probably a lot sooner, but they're looking elsewhere now for a quarterback. I just feel like they should have been able to get something more than just a 3rd round pick for a former NFL MVP. I mean, heck, they were able to trade Julio Jones last year to the Tennessee Titans for at least a 2nd and a 4th. And I thought that was a little outrageous considering Julio was the best wide receiver in the league for pretty much a decade. But, for the Atlanta Falcons, it's pretty much a brand new team now. It's the end of an era. And as an Atlanta Falcons fan, it's definitely bittersweet considering that, I am, happy for the future. I am excited to see what can ultimately be. But, that era is still going to hold a special place in my heart. Matt Ryan was pretty much the last piece of the Super Bowl team. And when we went to the NFC Conference Championship, he was pretty much that last piece, still there with the team. And now he's gone. So it's pretty much a brand new team now. So with the Colts, they're getting Matt Ryan, who is on the tail end of his career, but he can still throw that thing. He has a great deep ball. And I feel like all you have to do as a team is just get him some time so he can get it to your playmakers. They got Michael Pittman. They got some other pretty nice receivers. And they have Jonathan Taylor backing him up. So I definitely think the Indianapolis Colts have a great offense now with the addition of Matt Ryan. Now moving on to the Davante Adams trade, which shocked a lot of people. Davante Adams went to the Raiders, and it was coming after he rejected the Green Bay Packers putting a franchise tag on him for the 2022 season. So obviously there was some tension with Davante Adams and the Green Bay Packers not giving him the money that he wanted. So obviously he wanted out and he got traded to the Las Vegas Raiders, playing with his Fresno State teammate Derek Carr now for the 2022 season. And now the Raiders really have a stacked offense. They're getting the best wide receiver in the league in Davante Adams, pairing him with an already very reliable threat for Derek Carr, which was Hunter Renfrow, and a top 5 tight end in the league, Darren Waller. And for the Green Bay Packers, I feel like you can only help but wonder how will this impact Aaron Rodgers not having his top receiving threat that he has consistently had for the last 4 years. Because if you look at the Packers offense, a lot of their offense is centered around how they're going to get the ball to Davante Adams. So for the 2022 season, this Green Bay Packers offense is bound to look a lot different. I'm not sure if they're going to try to rely more on their running game or if they're going to stick with the pass-heavy offense they already have. But there are definitely some opportunities coming up to get Aaron Rodgers the help that he needs. They're hoping to get Allen Lazard back. He's a restricted free agent. He was a great number 2 threat for Aaron Rodgers to go to outside of Davante Adams. They could sign a receiver in free agency. And there's this draft coming up, so there are definitely a lot of opportunities to get Aaron Rodgers the help that he needs. So sticking with the AFC West, man, did the AFC West get so competitive this offseason. On paper, this is the best division in football right now. Chargers got Khalil Mack pairing him with edge rusher Joey Bosa. That's going to be a nightmare for opposing offenses, O-lines, and quarterbacks. Imagine being a quarterback, dropping back, and this guy are coming at you full speed. I'd be scared for my life. I'd be scared for my life. The Broncos finally solved their quarterback problem that they have been dealing with since Peyton Manning retired after he won Super Bowl 50 by trading for Russell Wilson. This was one of the first offseason moves that caught everybody off guard. When I saw this, I was like, oh, this offseason finna be wild, man. This offseason finna be crazy. With the addition of Russell Wilson, it is drastically improving the Broncos offense, and I definitely think that this addition is going to be able to get them back to the playoffs for the 2022 season. So I've covered a lot of offseason moves for the NFL in this video, and for the sake of time, I'm just going to run through a couple of more. There is so much, and I'm pretty sure there's going to be a lot more. But first, we got Allen Robinson to the Rams. That is a great signing for the Rams, considering that they just traded Robert Woods to the Tennessee Titans, pairing him with Cooper Kupp. Allen Robinson and Cooper Kupp, that could be a very dangerous duo. And I don't know if they're going to get Odell Beckham Jr. back, but if they do, wide receiver trio at the end of the day, you know? Next, we got Von Miller to Buffalo. He's going to be adding some pass rushing to Buffalo, and they much need some defense over there. We got Mitchell Trubisky to Pittsburgh. They're trying to figure out their quarterback situation over at Pittsburgh. Miles Jack as well to Pittsburgh, outside linebacker. Christian Kirk to Jacksonville, hopefully to try and get another receiving threat for Trevor Lawrence. He's coming from the Cardinals, where he was their top receiver this past season. Carson Wentz to Washington. He's coming from Indianapolis. DJ Chark to Detroit. That is a great signing by Detroit. They're going to need some receivers over there for this upcoming season. Pairing him with Amon-Ra St. Brown, that's going to be a very good duo. And finally, Russell Gage to Tampa Bay. He was a great secondary option for Matt Ryan back in Atlanta, and he is now signing with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. They now have Mike Evans, Chris Godwin, Russell Gage, and depending on if Rob Gronkowski comes back, they're going to have him back for the 2022 season, all with Tom Brady throwing to him. So that's going to be very deadly. I don't know how anybody is going to stop that. All right, guys, that's all the time I have for today's video. This offseason has been crazy, and I think it's only going to get crazier. Please let me know in the comment section what offseason move has been you guys' favorite, or you can let me know what offseason move you guys would like to see moving forward. As always, like, comment, and subscribe. I hope you guys have a great weekend. Stay safe, and I'll see you next week on Mail Guy Game.